Caitlin Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot.
Could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did it.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally turning a corner.
Kelsey Plum.
Why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose?
Caitlin Clark just returned the clap, and Kelsey Plum was...
You have sore losers, and you have sore winners, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them.
Following all of the turmoil and shade, Caitlin managed it with ease.
We agree with why we're watching for the league. We're really watching for Caitlin Clark. Everyone's going to be making more because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers.
Well, there's one that moves the needle.
Then the internet took off. If you're Caitlin 100% team, give it your all in the comments at this moment. Let's examine how Caitlin came out and smashed the hate above.
Players tried to get their point across. If they want to get paid more, pay us what you owe us. T-shirts that they were wearing.
Everything began at the WNBA All-Star Game, the time when they ought to have come together. Rather, the league became a public. Give Caitlin Clark a swipe. The athletes arrived, out with T-shirts that said, "Give us what you owe us," calling for increased compensation.
There's a shirt that says, "Pay us what you owe us."
A message that ought to have been empowering, yet Kelsey Plum accepted. A bit too much.
Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Or her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA negotiations.
In a press conference after a game, Plum was unable to resist. Without saying anything, she singled out Caitlin, calling her by name, stating 0 members of Team Clark were in attendance.
Plum took a shot at Caitlin Clark during that whole thing about Team Clark wasn't very present for that.
Clearly meant to isolate Clark.
To me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so.
For the protest-related meeting was more than just a remark. It was a loaded shot.
Kelsey Plum, she was taking a shot at Caitlin Clark's situation involving the "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirt.
Caitlin Clark was targeted by Plum during that whole Clark team thing. Wasn't really there for it.
Couldn't help but to say that Caitlin Clark didn't join in on the T-shirt discussion.
This week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin.
Make her appear self-centered and turn her fans against her. However, the reality is that Clark didn't. Since she wasn't able to attend the meeting, she was participating in the All-Star game, was disqualified in her hometown for taking. "I'm taking care of myself. I will not be attending this meeting."
Of us are really talking about what to do behind the scenes.
Additionally, she didn't have to don a T-shirt to demonstrate her support for players' rights.
Why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark?
Kelsey Plum tried to tear her down in front of the world and failed.
Kelsey Plum had some things to say about Cece, man.
This is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow.
Because of her, the league even has influence in these discussions. However, there's no justification for dragging her, since she didn't go. It was evident from Sabrina Ionescu's response, captured on camera looking clearly uncomfortable and irritated by Plum's remark. To make rescue tense, Stacey King, a WNBA veteran, even called it out in the open, asking, "Why are they making fun of Caitlin? She is the explanation for your increased pay." Not only a take, that was the reality. Let's be honest.
Regular sports fans have entered the chat and taken over the chat.
Watching the WNBA has increased, and merger sales are through the roof, and demand for tickets is, why is it higher than ever? Caitlin Clark. At the moment, she is the league's face. Additionally, rather than supporting her,
they're finally turning a corner.
What makes you try to win the Golden Caitlin Clark Goose?
Kelsey Plum dig. It did very odd.
Might have just ruffled some feathers with Caitlin Clark and her all-star team.
Not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark We're very present for that.
Kelsey Plum attempted to destroy her and failed in front of the world.
Caitlin Clark commented on her picture. Thank you for the Nike ad. What a weekend.
Following the All-Star Game jab from Kelsey Plum, the majority of stars would have retaliated. Caitlin Clark decided to keep quiet and still succeeded in flipping the whole story to her advantage.
Now I get why Caitlin Clark did that. That is funny.
No clapbacks, no interviews, no drama.
That post right there is at 5,000 likes.
Simply a great lecture on how to deal with enviously and openly, rather than Caitlin became protective and did what only, as real celebrities do, she allowed her to influence to speak. Additionally, it was a subtle yet devastating maneuver. Days after Plum's remarks gained widespread attention, when Caitlin Clark was in a Nike promotion honoring a collaboration that brings her to the attention of the world, would have sufficed. However, this is where it becomes cold.
Caitlin Clark is the face of a league. We love you, CC.
There's one person in this league that when she walks in the building, when she walks in the room, the owners see dollar signs. There's only one person, and her name's Caitlin Clark.
Kelsey Plum, an undergraduate, an athlete wearing armor, arrives at the Nike action as well, and Caitlin leaps into Plum's Instagram photos comments. Thank you for the Nike ad.
You have sore losers and you have sore winners, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them.
It was the weekend of a lifetime moment. A dagger, elegant and serene. No. Just a modest flex, no rants, no insults. While you're out here trying, it said, to pull me along.
Caitlin Clark's already rich. She made $11 million this year alone in endorsements.
You're unintentionally aiding in the promotion of my brand. Silent dominance is that. Additionally, the internet exploded with thousands of likes and responses, and admirers immediately noticed the shade. The remark and the post went viral. Was blatantly obvious.
They believe that they're just as big as Caitlin is. It's not the case.
That post alone has received 5,000 likes. Caitlin didn't have to retaliate, as her mere presence already possesses the limelight, but it wasn't over yet. Supporters saw that Caitlin was in the forefront and center in almost all of the WNBA's viral moments. Without even putting on a suit for the weekend, she attracted a lot of brands and media attention. Accompanied her. In the meantime, Kelsey Plum's fans were dragging their comments. NBA luminaries as well as media veterans. Clark didn't have to speak at all, since everyone in the sports world said it for her.
I'd scale back on the Caitlin Clark angst.
Additionally, she kept setting an example on the court. Despite the strain, the play, as well as the ongoing defenders targeting Caitlin still appeared in her subsequent games and hooped like an expert. She wasn't concerned with talking points or t-shirts. She allowed her maturity, brand, and game all make a big impression. Indeed, several experts began noting that Plum's remarks could have totally backfired, drawing compassion for Caitlin and disclosing deeper problems with envy within the league. According to one NBA analyst, the hand that feeds them is being bit by them.
Look at how many NBA players have come out and tried to tell the WNBA players, quit acting the way you're acting towards Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin is the rationale behind their desire to get rewarded. He is correct. Caitlin is the one generating ratings that break records. She is the driving force behind the WNBA's growth. Price increased to $250 from $50 million. Because of her, more fans are watching, purchasing jerseys, and displaying up to games. There is no denying her worth, and it was only made more obvious by her silence.
Caitlin Clark is completely on board with them trying to get more money.
Thus, even though Kelsey Plum opted for pettiness, Caitlin Clark selected power, and it was successful. She created one remarks, but not during a news conference. Replied on Instagram, leaving Kelsey Plum is fully exposed. There are no disputes. Just results, no drama. That's how you truly ruin someone. Not by yelling higher, but by getting louder.
One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private.
Following the illumination of Caitlin Clark's quiet flex, the internet, the emphasis wasn't only shift, it burst forth. What began as Kelsey Plum's attempt to make Caitlin look bad swiftly transformed into a backlash wave. This left Plum vulnerable, alone, and flailing in the spotlight. The general public, the fans were aware of the shade. Purpose. More significantly, so did the athletes. Kelsey's statement. Delicate remark, highlighting the fact that 0 Team Clark members participated in. The response to the salary protest was prompt. However, what wasn't the most telling moment? It was how others around me, she stated. Sabrina Ionescu, seated, replied. Next to her, at the press conference, immediately appeared too. Her body language conveyed discomfort. Her face froze, and she tensed up. She didn't co-sign the moment. She just sat there, perplexed, and laughed it off. In the moment, being aware that a line had been passed, however, it wasn't merely a error. It was a poor move in the most significant event in her career. The planned WNBA All-Star Weekend is a celebration of harmony, advancement, and finally, women are having their moment. Kelsey Plum chose to split instead. The changing area and attempt a flimsy attempt at the single player in charge of all the momentum, and the retaliation was swift
and challenging.
They have Caitlin Clark as a part of the league.
Former NBA champion Stacey King. Plum and her crew were criticized for being small-minded and detrimental to the league. He didn't refrain from asking, "Why are you throwing?" Disparagement of Caitlin Clark, the lone participant, who was involved in creating all of this. Charles wasn't by himself. Barkley, spectators, sports analysts, and former WNBA players even began phoning. Expose the hypocrisy.
NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%.
You can't ask for more money. Instead, ask for greater exposure and then turn off the precise star that is increasing visibility and cash to the table.
They've been shunning Caitlin Clark and her fans, that they're jealous of Caitlin and they want theirs.
It didn't look good, and it began to
show.
Rather than being regarded as a leader, Kelsey Plum started looking for change. Similar to the face of envy. Talk changed from "pay us what" to "you owe us an explanation for your hatred." The celebrity who's paying you. Fans on social media weren't having it. Post after post in the media criticized the shade, accusing Plum of being immature and insecure and unappreciative. One tweet that went viral said, Kelsey Plum's dissing received greater attention, more than anything Caitlin Clark has ever done throughout the season. That tells you everything. You must be aware of this. The worst thing, Caitlin didn't even take offense, avoided conflict, and didn't bring up Kelsey's name in the mud. She said nothing and managed to win.
Who's the leverage? Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
It's lost money for what, 28 years now, 27 years, 26 years? However long, it ain't never turned a profit.
The hate appeared even in that silence. Even more needless and more bitter. Made Plum's remark resound with despair.
Well, it was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just united front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The business side followed. Caitlin's. Nike ran with her as their brand worth skyrocketed. Momentum. Her remarks regarding Plum's picture went viral, with fans flooding the comments. Furthermore, Kelsey Plum did nothing. Response, no explanation, just quiet. The type of quiet that makes a statement. after being outclassed even more. It's ironic that Plum had to attend Nike, occasions in which Caitlyn served as the face, being aware that she joined Under Armour. Consider yourself the person who attempted to take the limelight, only to wind up in the shadow of Caitlyn at her own brand's party, and it was evident that Caitlyn's influence was too significant to overlook, and Kelsey's effort, it only became brighter when the light was dimmed. This drama has also broken down on the inside, reveal more serious problems in the WNBA, a league that isn't entirely constructed to accommodate stars. Some athletes aren't prepared for the latest trend. Some people dislike seeing a single athlete receives a lot of attention, yet the fact is Caitlyn Clark didn't request preferential treatment. She was granted. It happened. She filled arenas. She repositioned merchandise and introduced fresh supporters. Despite this, she made people care. Instead of accepting that, Kelsey Plum and others attempted to portray it as a issue. At this point, the pressure is encroaching on them. Because, whatever, how often do you tweet, talk, or throw shade? The competition, the supporters, and the one truth is consistent with the business side. The future belongs to Caitlyn Clark.
And if
you're not on the right side of that, not only are you out of touch, but you're also abandoned. As a result, while Kelsey Plum began with a shot across the bow, in the end, she was steamrolled by the she attempted to withstand that wave.
I don't get why you wouldn't want her involved. She's on your side.
And that's how quiet retaliation goes into an open accounting.